Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Welcome back, everybody. Donnie, Dolly, the team on check. Time to welcome in our second guest of the day, NHL analyst, co-host of the Bob McCown podcast, Mr. Television, multiple years at Hockey Night in Canada. We're talking about John Shannon. John, thanks for doing this, sir. How are you? How's your summer?
Yeah, it's been great. Boys, look at this technology.
Look at good, John.
This is fantastic. We got the show over here. The show's up in the corner.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're huge in the East. I just want you to know that. You're huge.
I bet. I'm not buying that for a second. Hey, John.
Well, you're at least in one house.
There you go. Okay.
Okay.
John, we've been talking a lot about day one of the National Football League, Dallas at Tampa Bay, and we ran some Howard Cosell earlier, some John Facenda. What does the NFL do well from a broadcasting point of view that other leagues could learn from, and maybe even going back in history a bit?
Well, what the NFL does is it does a better job of creating the illusion that the football fan sees everything. And what the NFL has more than it has more rules and regulations than anybody else. But through the investment that they made years and years ago in the mid to late 60s in NFL films that never made money in those years as an advertising vehicle. You got to see the players, you got to hear the players, you got to hear the coaches. And there's that automatic spark that thinks that you're seeing something special. And that's what the NFL has done better than anybody. I mean, you talked about John Facenda, who was a news anchor in Philadelphia. And it just so happens that's where NFL Films was in suburban Philadelphia. And they found that great voice. And so it was just something that happened. And they have done it better than anybody else for longer than anybody else on a smaller playing field with lots of access. And so they've done everything right. It truly is the answer.
Are you like me, John? Do you hate the fact that the NHL, going way back when, Gordie Howe, Bobby Orr, Bobby Hull, did not do a great job of documenting its product?
Well, I think, yeah. I mean,
in terms of film and video.
Yeah, we did not do a good job for a long time. We really didn't. You're right.
But before your time, John.
Oh no! But even when I started, Donnie, listen, I worked at the CBC when we walked in one day in the early days at Hockey Night in the mid to late 70s. That said that 5 years of games are gone. 5 years of games have disappeared. Really, what started around 1980 was there was a bunch of us saying we have to save everything, we have to save it all.
Yeah,
and guys like you and when you were at VU, and that was part of maintaining libraries all over the country to keep footage. There are some great old vintage games still alive. The NHL now owns them. The Molson Brewery used to own all of them, but they sold them to the NHL about 15 years ago. But the NHL has them, but they're not like what NFL Films has always been like.
All right, let's talk about the Canucks, John. Pettersson and Hughes, when is that going to get done? I know you've got the scoop.
Can I quote the laugh?
Yes, please. Because, when's camp start?
When does 23rd
Okay.
In Abbotsford.
So I think they'll both be done by the 23rd. How's that? It's the guys at CAA are a little up to their eyeballs with Quinn, and they've got Jack Eichel now, so that'll keep them busy. And I think this is one of those scenarios where both sides want to get it done, and there has to be. Jim's probably got Francesco, trying to convince him of certain numbers. But I do believe both guys will get done before camp starts.
You got Brady Tkachuk, You got the Russian in Minnesota who's going to have big bucks. Hey, John, some of these guys coming out of entry-level deals, they're getting big bucks nowadays.
Well, and you know what, Rick, that this was a time that every team used to say and salivate at. This is the only chance we have to manage guys for a couple of years. This was supposed to be the end of the entry-level deal. This is when teams had the advantage.
Yeah.
And what's happening now is that the league has gotten so much younger, and with the flat cap, teams are unable to take advantage of it. The Brady Tkachuk one is an interesting one for me because the Senators are still well under the floor at this point, and trying to make sure that that they can get a deal done. Now, they have met a couple of times with the guys at Newport. We know that, for 4 or 5 hours at a time. And again, like the two guys in Vancouver, I fully expect Brady to be in camp later in the month in Ottawa.
We got a text here, John, in the Delaney's OK Tire and Langley inbox. What's that interesting picture behind John Shannon?
Okay,
a few of them.
So the one directly,
the big one, the big one
is the original gondola, the Hockey Night in Canada gondola at Maple Leaf Gardens.
Nice.
Yeah. It's that's my pride and joy. I do believe that I am in the picture. Nice. I'm a speck in the picture, but you can certainly see Billy Hewitt and Brian McFarland working at one end. And it was near the start of my career in the mid to late 70s in Toronto when I was a student at Ryerson as well.
And John, watching games at Maple Leaf Gardens, it was just a joy. And Mike Palmateer was my favorite goaltender growing up. Nothing against Richard Brodeur, but it was Mike Palmateer. But Maple Leaf Gardens.
I liked Richard Brodeur.
Obviously, Richard 82, but Mike Palmateer, for some reason, I just love that guy.
You know what we need right now? Barry McDonald is an unbelievable Bill Hewitt.
Yes.
Like, unbelievable presentation of Bill Hewitt. And,
yes.
You know,
get him on the show. Come on.
Yeah. We've had him on a couple months ago. We'll get him on again. Yeah. Hey, John, before we let you go, how important is it to the sport of hockey that the NHL is going back to the Olympics?
I don't think it's important at all. Honestly, I think that, I was a guy that was there in Nagano in 1998 when this thing started. I was in Salt Lake City when Canada won the first time in 50 years. I think it's fun to go for the players. I don't think the players will have near the experience this time around. Beijing is going to be really, really hard. It's going to make Tokyo, I'm told, it's going to make Tokyo look like a country club when it comes to rules and regulations of COVID and safety. I would rather see personally, not from a professional perspective. Personally, I'd rather see with a new team coming in with Seattle there. I'd rather see the regular season be spread out a little bit more, and the games in the National Hockey League be respected more, as opposed to going for 2 weeks to China for some guys to have some fun.
All right, well said. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. We'll talk to you next week.
Why do we get to do this like this way every week?
Yes, yes. Technology. We finally figured it out.
I'll maybe put another picture up and we can do a tour.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, that'd be great. That I bet you have some great pictures. I love that one.
I got a few. I got a few. Oh, that's my favorite. I stole that from Maple Leaf Gardens.
Oh, wow. Nice. Good for you. Don't tell anyone. Thanks, John.
No. See you later.
Okay.
All right, John.